Gotta get my slappers ready.
This video is brought to you by the WD-40 brand. Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to build a bumper for Rat's Nest. And I'm going to do it with this piece of 11 gauge 2x4 box, a couple of D-ring clevises mounts that I got from Barnes 4-wheel drive, and a weld-on plate kit for Cherokees that I got off of eBay for 40 bucks. Alright guys, so if you've been following along in our adventures, you know that when I was out in Pennsylvania, I had the Cherokee out there, and I actually came off a rock, hit my shackle, hit this, and then hit my taillight, actually shoving the taillight up, and broke my taillight. Fortunately, I was lucky enough that it didn't do a whole lot of damage. I was able to bend this back straight, remount a new taillight, but every time I came off of anything, I had this little plastic thing in my receiver hitch, and I just kept busting up my receiver hitch, this thing, but just dragging on my receiver hitch. And this thing sits pretty tall, guys. This is pretty high up. But I do still want to be able to tow, but this hangs down too low and it doesn't protect enough. I need to actually build something that protects it. And if you go back a few series, you remember that I went ahead and cut and chopped my rockers on the back so I could have a nice high clearance. The downside of that is then if I were to buy a bumper here, there's just not very many companies out there that make a high clearance bumper. I think Rusty's makes a high clearance bumper for here. And I want mine to be different. If I were to buy a regular bumper, it would just look weird because it'd hang out past the taillight and I'd have this high clearance spot and then basically a bumper that's going to catch everything. So I don't want to do that. This is the XJ bumper kit that I got off of eBay for 40 bucks. And what I thought in my head was, if it's actual metal, there's definitely $40 worth of metal there. And it comes with anodized bolts and nuts too. So I really couldn't pass up the price. I don't know if any of it's going to work. I did go ahead and check the bolt holes here. If this is supposed to bolt to the body, then these bolt holes do line up. I did see this pre-welded from eBay, and they wanted like 70 bucks for it. So $30 to weld it up. But if you watched the last video where I was rebuilding the rear end, you would know that I have trust issues and I don't want to have something that I buy that somebody else has welded that I don't know who they are. So I'd rather do it myself and do it the right way. And like I said, I don't think this, without doing some major cutting, is gonna fit. Ding! All right, so this is crazy. This actually comes with bolts and nuts. I'm kind of bummed that they're anodized because I'm actually gonna have to grind off the anodization if I want to weld it good. But it's even got these little round circles in the nut, so it actually centers up in the nut, so you can go ahead and weld these in, and these actually are lining up. I just checked them, they line up inside the holes. Weld this to here. I'll weld my nuts on. I'll probably go ahead and add a gusset in here just so that I feel like it's structurally supported a little bit on the inside. I'll still have my stock bolts bolting up out here to the back of the unibody. So now I have solid mounts going all the way down, plus the plate mount welded or bolted to the body. And then I'll go ahead and use these plates that would normally go inside here, out here, and I'm gonna cut it for my bumper mount. So one of the things I see in the comments all the time, you guys are asking, where's the Willys, where's the TJ, where's the Samurai? And the Willys is still right here. If you remember, Matt and the guys helped me get this out. It has not moved. We got it running. One of the things I found though right away is the transmission is locked up. They just collect water in there. I can't even shift it. So I got a lot of work to do to it, and the body is in really rough shape. I know it looked good in video. The patina's awesome. I'm gonna do something with it. I haven't decided, but I did pick up another body here. This is a 48 Willys body, and it is in really much better shape. The Wrangler, I still have it. I got a new top and new doors that I got from Rampage. The doors that were on there were in rough shape. They were in real bad shape. They had holes in them. They didn't match. One was one company, one was another. And the Rampage top I like so much that I just got a new one. So I got a new top, new doors, and the fuel pump went out on it, and I had to change the fuel pump out. And that's another issue. And if you want to know why I have trust issues, the fuel pump that was in there had a factory Chrysler wiring harness, meaning that it was done at a dealership, because nobody's going to buy a dealership fuel pump and then put it in themselves. But inside the tank was another sending unit, and another filter from a previous pump. So another thing why I like to do things myself. The Samurai is still broke, guys. I still haven't fixed it. I just have to have enough time to get in there. I do have a sidekick transmission, a doubler, and a Midnight Metalworks Dana 300 that I will be putting in that Samurai very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. I got the bolts just lightly torqued in here, and all I'm doing is basically just getting it set so I can put those cap pieces in, weld those in, and then know exactly where I want to put everything going forward for the bumper. I went ahead and cut these off, and now I can use these here. I'm going to use my angles and just get it nice and tight and where I want it. My Harbor Freight magnetic angles. And now I have 4 sweet tomahawks. Sky! I chose to go 3 inches out here, and then I'll have 2 inches of box. Here's where the computer warriors and me don't get along. They will call this Cherokee a unit body because Jeep called it a unit body because they added more structural support under there and called it a unit frame. But I don't know any vehicle with a frame that when I'm flexed up, I can't open my rear hatch. So I'm gonna call it a unibody still. You can call it a unibody, you can call it a unit frame, you can call it whatever you want. But what I did do is I gave myself enough gap here. This is gonna be the top of my bumper right here. So the bottom will be basically the bottom of here. And the reason I did that is just in case there's a little bit of twisting in the unibody uniframe, I'll still be able to open the hatch and it won't get into my bumper. Brackets are bolted in. We got our plates welded on. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure what I want for outside level 2x4 box. And I'm going to match it. Like I said, the top of it's going to be right at the top of these. So I'm just going to come out. What I want to do is stick out an extra inch or so past the outside of the body, and that's what's gonna, that'll help protect the body. If I were to come off at an angle, it's still gonna hit the bumper and not the bumper on the edge of the body. Anytime your rock sliders or anything are right up against it, a lot of times you're gonna scrape your body. Okay, so I got my 28 and 5/8 marked right here. I measured it both sides to make sure it's centered up. Now I'm going to go ahead and line it up right here. I double check the outside of here and the outside of here to make sure it's lined up with the center post, and they are. So I feel like that is at least darn close to center. So what I'm going to do is hold this up with my mark centered at that post, tack it. I'll put a couple tacks at the top here where I can get to them easy, and then we just got to make sure this is where the welding part, you always, measure 3 times, weld once, comes in, and so that's what I want to do. I just want to make sure that everything's good, everything's straight, everything looks good. We'll drop the tailgate back down, make sure it's true up on both sides. Everything looks copacetic, and then we'll burn her in. How about that? That'll make it a little easier to line up. So I saw this TikTok where this guy had taken his phone, built an entire cardboard shield out of it, except where his camera was, and then he was welding looking through his phone. You think that's possible? Without, I mean, I guess you're looking through a secondary lens without burning yourself or burning your eyes. I mean, don't catch your cardboard on fire, but I thought that was kind of ingenious. Looks like I want to come out about 16 inches here. All right, so when I cut the bumper, I had a straight cut. I went ahead and just put this at an angle because those pieces that I'm going to come out with, I want to have a little tapered edge on them. So I didn't really pick any particular angle. I just want to make sure they match left and right. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I just threw a pitch in it. Probably, I don't know, I'm going to guess 35 degrees-ish. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And that way, then all I got to do is go back to my straight, and then I can measure the end of it and cut it again. And now I have 2 exact pieces that already have the same tapered, the same tapered cut on. I know it looks a little goofy. I promise you it's going to look a lot better by the time this video is done. So here's kind of what I was thinking. We'll do a piece there. We'll do a piece there. Look who's pulling up. What do we got going on?
We're lost.
Lost in South Dakota?
Yeah, Google Maps took us on a wrong road. We're trying to get to Mount Rushmore. So, it had an engine fire. I think because they supercharged it, it caught fire. Is my guess.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, that's nice. That's extras.
Oh, yeah, going for the goodies. You can have that for free. This is our gift.
All right, guys, so Robbie stopped by. He's going to show me exactly how he would fix this body because I'm probably not going to be able to do it the same way. I don't have the skills or the parts.
Gotta warm my hands up.
Let's take a quick look.
Gotta get my slappers ready. I seen the inside. Your rust repair looks awesome.
Well, thank you.
So, little stuff like this. I think these will be fine. That'll line X out, but right there, you're going to want to get that pulled out. You got a stud gun?
I do.
Good. You're going to want to use your stud gun. Pull that out. Maybe pull that out. I can use plastic welding.
Oh, yeah.
That turned out pretty good. So, like that's, oh, some dirt's falling out. Some veneers.
Some Pennsylvania mud.
Yeah, got some Pennsylvania mud.
Yeah, keep that.
Take that home to Utah. But hopefully you can get that pulled out without pulling your windshield back out. You got to really emphasize the.
Yes.
We'll give you a good sound bite. Right. I like the spare tire mount. That rear bumper's looking way good. Well, I'm probably going to have a ton of questions when I build my JK because I'm not an expert when it comes to building Jeeps, but I'm hoping to become an expert.
We can help out with the Jeep department, I think.
Yeah. I need some BleepinJeep advice.
Oh, there you go.
Got it. Now it's complete.
Complete.
Your wall of stickers is done. No more.
Good to go?
Good to go. Looking good.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I gotta get back on this bumper. They gotta get to Utah. They got a whole nother project here that you're gonna have to go to his channel, Robbie Layton. If you haven't seen it, or RobbieLayton.com, make sure you get their merch. But you have to go over there and watch this Jeep build as it unfolds.
Yes, because we're going to be relying a lot on Colt's knowledge. Because this is something I'm not super knowledgeable about, and I hope to learn while showing you guys how we're doing it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Robbie had to take back off and get started on his Jeep. I had to get back on this. So you can see I went ahead and cut my two pieces, got the angle pieces kind of set in. I'm going to go ahead and plate the top of that, but I can do that once I have the bumper off, along with all my final welding, and make sure everything's really in there good. Right now what I'm doing is just tacking it, getting it in good, and then giving it good tacks so that it's all set in place so it won't move on me when I go to unbolt it. The next thing I know I need to do is I want to put a receiver hitch in, and I think I may have something outside, but I just got to go dig around. Good old trusty Harbor Freight light. Boom. Well, that's a receiver hitch, but man, I'd have to hack so much up to make that work too. All right, that came out easier than I thought it would. All right, guys, so you saw me use this earlier to get the bolts out. I mean, WD-40's been around for forever. Also, they have tons and tons of different products. You guys need to really look into it. This is one that I use all the time on my Heim joints and steering pieces and anything else that creates a squeak because it doesn't collect dust. I know it's really made for like table saws, drills, and lathes and stuff, but it works really, really good for the front end and any of your squeaking components. When you're four-wheel and you get dust on it, this does not collect dust. It works a lot better. So if you guys are like me and you're in a small shop space and you can't always store all your steel inside and you have to store your nice expensive steel that is now very, very pricey outside, don't be afraid to invest in some WD-40 Specialist Rust Penetrant and make sure you spray it down before you set it out there, and you'll thank me later, because this is a heck of a lot cheaper than what cost of steel is now anymore. And that way it won't end up looking like this big rusty pile of receiver hitch that I got here. Yeah, come here. All right. So at this point, I had purchased this when I purchased my box steel, and it's just a piece of 2-inch flat strap, and I'm going to use it to go ahead and cap the end. So I'll cut it, cap the ends. I'm going to cap these ends. I'm going to grind it, make it smooth and flush. I want it to look like a one-piece unit. Like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and cut gussets and weld gussets in here as well. So this is gusseted. We're going to cap this off. We'll weld inside here, make sure everything's solid, and then gusset the bumper and weld our D-ring clevises that we got from Barnes. If you guys need anything from Barnes Four-Wheel Drive, they are one awesome company, and we have a discount code right here. Make sure you check it out, or you can go to BleepinJeep.com and go to member discounts. All right, guys, so I got everything cut and marked. I'm ready to get after it, but it is late. I'm tired. It's dark out, and so I think I'm gonna go in, shower, crash for a few hours, and we'll get back on it tomorrow, just like this. And just like that, it's day 2. Had a little food, got the bumper out. We got everything marked up here where I want to cut it, and then I got to cut a little chunk out right here for that receiver hitch to fall. And now I just need to cut my 2-inch box, or my 2-inch strap, to plate that off. We'll cap these out, cap the ends out. We're gonna make it look brand new. I'm really happy with how this thing's coming together. So now you can see here, I went ahead and got it cleaned up. Now I'll go ahead and burn the outside of this. One of the things that I want to do, like I said, is go ahead and clean everything off. So I'm grinding it down with the flat disc and making everything nice and smooth. That way it's going to look like it's all one piece, like it was made to be that way. Now you can see these tiny little pits, if you can see those. So what I'm going to come back in here and do is just catch those real fast with a couple spot welds. I'll clean them off, and then once I'm done with the flat disc, I'll come in with that DS sander and really just smooth everything off, and it's really going to fine tune everything and make it look really nice. So one of the other things I want to stress is when you are sanding down welds to try to make it look smooth and clean, you don't want to do it to just cover up bad welds. That's not the point of doing that. You need to get good penetration on those welds, and you need to make sure they're going to hold up. Like, I would never grind down, wouldn't want to grind down all the welds on like a roll cage, because you actually are losing some strength there because you're losing material. So every time you're doing a roll cage, you want to make sure you just have good penetrating welds. Where in this case, this is just a bumper cap. I still want to make sure I was in there good, the welds look good, but this is going to be seen, and I want it to look like one flush piece. Cool. All right, so I got my cutoff receiver hitch welded in. Now I got to put on my Barnes clevis mounts. I lined them directly up with where the bumper mounts, and all the way down the frame rail, so that way if I'm pulling from it, it's a direct pull through the entire unibody or uniframe all the way through the Cherokee. And I feel like it's gonna be pretty stout because I actually have more bolts than the receiver hitch had. It actually only had 2 on each side, and I was pulling people out all over the place at Mammoth. So with those there, I think we're gonna be pretty stout. Now I just got to burn them in, and those I don't want to clean up the welds. I'm going to have them actually stand out and look over welded and pretty, hopefully. Welcome to my paint booth, where I paint my birds. Alright guys, it's all painted up. I gotta let it dry, and then we'll bolt it on the Jeep. But if you want to see that, you're gonna have to wait till next time, because I am going to do body work and paint that thing before I go ahead and bolt this up. So make sure you check it out. If you like this video, check these out. Thanks for watching.